So I want to tell you an answer, and I think this is a beautiful answer. Do any of you have brothers and sisters? Okay. Let me ask you, do you fight sometimes with your brothers and your sisters?
No, never.
Never? Okay. Now let me ask you a question, and I want you to try to be honest. Are you ever jealous of your brother and your sister? You know, if your brother or sister gets something, gets a prize or gets a present, and you think that it's not being fair, or let's say you go to a restaurant or you go out somewhere and your father, your mother buys them, gets them something nicer, something more delicious. It's only natural. It's called sibling rivalry. And it's been around since the beginning of time. Matter of fact, it's been around perhaps from the first set of siblings that there were in the history of the world. And that's Cain and Hevel. Cain and Abel. And when God accepted and preferred the sacrifice that Abel brought, Hevel brought, Cain was jealous. He was so jealous that he killed his brother. So sibling rivalry and being jealous of your siblings is almost as natural and as normal as being a human being. You know what's so unique about Ephraim and Manasseh? Is that when Yaakov Avinu took Manasseh and he said, no, you're not going to get the premier bracha. I'm going to give the right hand to Ephraim, who's the younger son. And I'm going to give the left hand to Manasseh, who's the older son. You know what you and I would have done? You said, hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Zadie. Wait a minute, grandfather. Wait a minute, grandpa, or whatever you call your grandfather. What are you doing over here? I'm older. I'm the Bechor. And yet, Manasseh did not say a peep. He didn't say, what's going on over here? And when Yosef tried to convince his father and say, Tati, Daddy, Abba, you're making a mistake. You're giving the better bracha to the younger son. Ephraim didn't pop up and say, hey, Daddy, listen, if Zadie wants to do this, if Granddad wants to do this, let him do it. They both accepted exactly what was happening without a peep. They weren't jealous of each other. They didn't object. If this is what the Zeta wants, if this is what the grandfather wants, then so be it. Now let me tell you a secret, boys and girls. Let me tell you a secret. I'm a father and I'm a grandfather. And there's nothing more in the world that parents want is that their children should get along with each other. Do you hear me? There is nothing more important to a parent that their children should be b'shalom and they should live together in peace and harmony and care and love about each other. And there is nothing more that's aggravating to a parent when you have children that are fighting with each other. So even though Moshe and Aaron were perhaps more prominent, but if you want an example of two brothers that got along and had no jealousy and no kinna and accepted what their parent, their father, their grandfather were doing, it's Ephraim and Manasseh. So this Friday night, when you go home, and if you don't have this custom, perhaps ask your parents to start this custom. You come home from shul, before you make kiddush, the father, in some houses, the father and the mother, they give a bracha. You know what that bracha is? Be like Ephraim and Manasseh. Don't fight among each other. Don't be jealous of each other. Because that's what parents want from children. That's what they want from children more than anything else. That they should be b'shalom, that you should be in peace. You know, and you're young now, and the stakes are relatively small, this present, that present, this iPod, this iPad, this whatever. But as you get older, the stakes are going to be a little bigger. And therefore, there will come times when you think you're not being treated fairly. Don't make an issue of it. In the end, everything washes out and everything comes out equal in the end. And therefore, that's the bracha that a parent wants to give a child. Now, there's one other lesson I'd like to share with you. I'll take the question later. And that is that when, in fact, Yosef says, listen, Yaakov says, I know what I'm doing, and I want to give Ephraim the better bracha with the right hand, and Manasseh the lesser bracha with the left hand. So what did he do? Sikei es yadov. He switched hands. He did it this way. This is the right hand, but I want it to go to Ephraim. This is the left hand, I want it to go to Manasseh. This is what he did. Now, wouldn't it have been less awkward for him to say, okay, Ephraim, you move over here, Manasseh,